The house stood tall. David Allen, a young man in his 20s. David Allen, a David Allen. Once in Washington, D.C., a haunting tale unfolded. David Allen, a young man in his 20s, moved into a beautiful old house inherited from his grandfather. The house stood tall, with its ancient brick and creaky wooden floors telling stories of the past. David was excited to start a new chapter in his life, but strange things began to happen almost immediately. One night, as David settled on his couch to watch a movie, he felt a sudden chill. The air around him thickened, and shadows danced in the corners of the room. He ignored it, convincing himself it was just an old house settling. However, as night after night passed, the occurrences grew harder to dismiss. Objects moved on their own, whispers echoed through the halls, and he often felt he was being watched. Worried, David reached out to his friend, Sarah. She was a journalist with a knack for the supernatural, and he knew she would help him understand what was happening. Sarah arrived with her camera and notebook, ready to document their experience. Together they investigated, searching through books about the history of the house. It turned out that many years ago, a family had lived there who had suffered a great tragedy. Their spirit lingered, unable to move on, and their pain manifested in mysterious ways. Feeling scared yet determined, they decided to investigate further. They contacted a local ghost-finding group called Ghost Finders, known for their successful exorcisms. The group consisted of 4 experienced members: Sam, the leader; Mia, a sensitive who could feel spirits; Jake, the tech expert; and Lily, the historian. The team agreed to help David, wanting to uncover the truth behind the hauntings. The night of the exorcism arrived. David felt a mix of fear and excitement as he prepared himself. The ghost finders set up equipment around the house: cameras, digital recorders, and motion sensors. They began the investigation in the living room where David often felt the chilly air. Sam gathered everyone in a circle and spoke softly, "We are here to connect with any spirits and understand your needs. We mean no harm." As he spoke, the air became colder, and the lights flickered. Suddenly, Mia gasped. "There's something here," she said, her voice trembling. "I can feel a presence." The team directed questions to the spirit, but only silence filled the room, broken by the sound of creaking wood as if something was moving around them. Jake moved to check his equipment, while Lily searched through history books to find any clues about the family's past. David watched, his heart racing, as the tension in the room thickened. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the kitchen. Everyone jumped, and Sarah pointed her camera toward the sound, capturing every moment. They rushed to the kitchen and found a chair on the floor, overturned. Sam snapped into action, trying to calm the spirit lingering there. "We are here to help you," he called out. "What do you want?" A soft, sorrowful whisper floated through the air, sending shivers down their spines. Freedom. It was faint but clear. The spirit wanted to be released from its earthly ties. The ghost finders set up a seance to communicate with the spirit more directly. David joined the circle, desperate to understand what was troubling the spirit. As they placed their hands on the table, the atmosphere shifted. They closed their eyes, focusing on the energy around them. Mia, with her eyes closed, began to speak. "I see a woman, holding a child. She's sad, lost." Her voice trailed off, and the room filled with an immense feeling of sadness. David felt tears prickling his eyes. He felt the echo of the woman's sorrow in his own heart. "Why are you still here?" David asked gently, feeling a connection with the spirit. "You need to move on." In reply, the shadows thickened, and a vision of the woman appeared before them, a spectral figure who seemed to embody all her pain. She pointed towards a corner where a dusty old chest sat, overlooked for too long. Lily, always the historian, recognized the chest. "This belonged to the family," she exclaimed. They rushed to open it. Inside were letters and photographs, remnants of a life filled with love but also heartbreak. The woman had lost her child many years ago and had never received closure. The team knew what they had to do. Sam led everyone through a cleansing ritual, reading prayers and acknowledging the spirit's sorrow. David felt a warmth wash over him, as if the spirit was finally feeling heard. "You are not alone," he said softly. "Your child is waiting for you." Suddenly, the air shimmered. The lights flickered, and a deep calm settled over the room. The spirit, now radiant and ethereal, slowly began to fade away. "Thank you," the whisper echoed before disappearing entirely. The house felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted. David and his friends stood there in silence, overwhelmed by the experience. The ghost finders packed up their equipment, leaving the place in peace. David smiled, knowing he had helped release a trapped spirit. With the haunting behind him, he felt ready to embrace his new life in the house. The ghost finders left, but their bond and experiences would forever stay with him. The old house, with all its stories, was finally free.